You know what I do remember? Traditionally, like the parents, of the bride, they pay for the wedding, and then, the husband's family pays for the honeymoon. But, my parents were going to pay for the wedding, and somehow you asked me, well, why aren't I paying for it? Something like that. So somehow I paid for the wedding, because you said I'm paying for the honeymoon. Your parents weren't going to pay for it, but somehow we had a discussion. I end up paying for the wedding, and I mean these were the things like we would be in these discussions, and you would have a good point, like why you we're both doing halfway decent. Why would you make your parents pay for it? And I was like, because that's tradition. That's just the way it is. And then somehow, but they did pay for the my dress and everything. But I guess that was one of our discussions that I was like, I don't know, these conversations that I was having with you. It was like, okay, I guess that's a good point. So I'm Donna.
And I'm Will.
And this is Journey with Donna and Will.
Well, I think that's one of the interesting aspects of our relationship, especially starting out, was just our background. So you came from middle class background, and I came from a more modest background. So I think we had a different perspective on,
Right.
on faith.
The traditions were a little bit challenged with you, and I mean, it's not like oh, okay, whatever you say. I wasn't that, but you just had some very good points. So I mean, those were some of the key things that I remember. Which we as we came together, you compromised and. I learned a lot about myself too. It's like, I mean, I like, how I grew up, structured and stuff. I think with you, a little bit loose, which I think is good too. And I think the combination of the both worked out.
Yeah, I was just growing up. Like I grew up in the city. I think you grew up in a suburb, but the city, maybe the living was just a little different. I know that we used to be allowed to just leave the house early in the morning as a kid and go play all day and come back when the street lights came on. But there was nobody like looking over, no adults looking over our shoulders, although they were there in the community.
Mm-hmm.
If you got in trouble, they told on you. But for the most part, kids organized, our own sports and organized our own little leagues. We had organized leagues, but then we had a lot of free time to do stuff.
Yeah.
That was unsupervised.
Of course, my dad walked me down the aisle, and he also married us. And we also had jumping of the broom, which is an African American tradition. It means like the two jump into this union. And there is a significant meaning behind the broom.
So the broom handle represents God. The bristles at the end of the broom represent the families. And the ribbon, there's a ribbon tied around the broom to signify the bonds that tie each other together.
Using the 1870 census, we can estimate our ancestors and when they possibly jumped the broom. There was no documentation, but looking at the census, the idea that they possibly jumped the broom prior to the first child being born. In 1850, Alan and Leah Belton were married for approximately 35 years.
My third great grandparent, Lil Barn Reynolds and Ursula Brown, were married in 1840.
Robert and Lucinda Day also married around, jumped the broom in 1840.
And my second great grandparents, John Smith and Catherine Reynolds, they were married in 1860.
And Luke and Phyllis Brown Lewis married and jumped the broom in 1860. And our ancestors, it seems like they were married for a very long time. They had very long marriages. What do you think the key was?
I think the key was just love for family. I think it's in African American tradition where families really value and love each other. I mean, not that they didn't have their issues or challenges, but I just think it was just part of the culture.
But, the families stayed together back then.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. So these are some of the names listed here are the models that we had, coming up. We just saw folks, they had their challenges again, but however, you got to observe firsthand how they dealt with their challenges and were able to work things out. So these are the kind of the role models we had.
Yeah. So, 36 years is a long time. You're going to have your challenges. What are some of the ways we dealt with challenges, like if we have a disagreement? You can give people space for a little bit, but you do need to let your partner know, what the issue is, because guys and girls are different. They interpret different actions, and something you might think is a big deal really is not a big deal to them. So it's important to communicate, what the issue is. It's not like I would get my way, but at least what you're dealing with. It's not good to just keep quiet and not say anything.
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, if you're upset with me or whatever the case may be, if you don't communicate to me what the issue is, then it's kind of a little bit frustrating, I guess.
Learn to make sure, you might need a little bit of space for a little bit of time, but always come back, communicate, why you're upset, or if you're upset, you let them know. I don't think you need too much space. You'll let people know immediately what's upsetting you. But then, your goal is to, be together and stuff. So you want to come in with, I hear your perspective. Maybe I can do this to, alleviate that, or no, I'm not going to do this. So where everybody stands, on that particular issue. The challenges don't have to be arguments and stuff. There can be health issues, and that is something you got to pray about. Try and take care of yourself and do what you need to do to overcome that.
Yeah, for health issues, definitely take care of yourself, take care of your spouse, be there for whatever capacity that that's needed, and encourage each other to stay and get your annual checkups, or if you do have any specific health issues, encourage each other to keep up with whatever is prescribed from your doctors. But I definitely want to support each other.
And also raising kids, you might have a different perspective on that. The key there is you guys have to come as a united front when raising kids. So, those are some of the challenges, but if your ultimate goal is to be together and you're going to work through things, I think you're going to be fine. What's the best thing about being married?
You always have a life partner. You always have somebody that you can do things with, talk to.
Somebody that knows
trust.
you.
Somebody knows you. Somebody you trust with just about anything. You can talk about things from 36 years ago.
For real. I think that's one of the good. Communicating and just having those great memories with each other, and doing a lot of new things.
Yeah, somebody you can grow with, build with.
Family.
Yeah, your partner, your companion.
Mm-hmm. What are our hopes for the future?
Just pray we continue to stay healthy, and that ultimately we're going to retire and just take advantage of the time and enjoy ourselves even more with more free time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And continue to watch our
grandkids.
Grandkids and kids continue to grow. With their families and careers. Also, having more free time to meet and greet other family. Outside of our immediate family. Like we got to go to a family reunion. Anyway, just having more time to do things that we want to do versus having to punch a clock every day.
Yeah, the relaxation.
Yeah, and you get to do it with your partner.
That's right. There you go. It's been a good journey, 36 years thus far. Hope to continue. I'm Donna.
And I'm Will.
And this was Journey with Donna and Will. And please subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you next time.